Can you smell that? That's the smell of fall in the air. Signs of fall are starting to pop up everywhere. The leaves are starting to change color ever so slightly, too. I personally can't wait for fall. You know, autumn is a time for great change for a lot of creatures here, at Ruthven Park, and all over Canada, too. So for this edition of Fun Fact Friday, I want to share with you more information about fall migration, and how it relates to the birds that you can see here at Ruthven Park. So without further ado, let's go! Before we explore what birds we can see this time of year, and why they look so different, we first need to understand what migration is. To put it simply, migration is the movement of living things from one location to another. Migration tends to be seasonal, and species intend to stay in the new location for some amount of time. So for instance, if you were walking in the forest and saw a bird hop from one branch to another, that would not be considered migration. However, if you were watching an eagle's nest for 1 year, and the next year the eagle builds a nest in a new location, that would be migration. Now, I know what you're thinking. Why do some species go through all this trouble to migrate year after year, and why do birds migrate twice? Well, there are a few reasons why this is the case. The primary reason for migration is for survival. Birds, like all other living creatures, require 4 things: food, water, shelter, and space. These resources fluctuate based on the seasons, so birds will migrate in search of areas with the best of these resources. In the case of Ontario, and like many other locations in Canada, birds migrate north for the summer because of our climate, and south for the winter because of their climate. Evidence is out there to support that birds know when it's time to migrate because of their genetics too. It's quite literally built into them. Now that we know that birds are following food sources and habitable conditions, what direction are they really going? Well, that depends on the individual species of bird, but for the most part, they migrate south in the fall and north in the spring. Many species use Ruthven Park as a stopover location on their journey further north or further south, stopping here to rest and then continuing to their final location. However, some species will stay and use Ruthven Park as nesting grounds. For instance, the blue-winged warbler will summer in this area instead of moving further north. They will then fly south for the winter. As we approach the fall season, many species from the spring will look completely different. Can you think of why this might be? The reason for this change has to do with nesting habits. In the spring, birds are actively breeding, and thus have a breeding plumage, which is bright and colorful to attract a mate. In the fall, these birds are non-breeding, and have changed their feathers to be much drabber in color. For birdwatchers, this is exciting, but can also be a bit of a challenge as the species they know from the spring now look entirely different. Migration is a process, just like many other things in nature. All living things that practice migration do so for their survival. Scientists are continuing to study migration patterns as they help to provide a great indication of the health of our planet. Check out the link in the description for more information on migration, and some of the current science surrounding this fascinating topic. So whether you're a nature enthusiast, or a bird watcher, or someone who's just curious about how the natural world operates, be sure to look for signs of fall migration in your own neighborhood. You never know who might show up. Thank you for joining me on this edition of Fun Fact Friday, and I'll catch you all next month as we explore the concept of fall colors. Until next time, take care.